Today, we're going to go over using the Remark Office OMR software to grade a test. What I have here is I have a file that has the two test answer keys, version 1 and version 2, and all of the student tests that I scanned using a multifunction printer, all in one scan. I put it into a department folder and retrieved it and downloaded it to this computer here. Now I'm ready to grade the test. The first thing that I want to do is launch the Remark Office software. Next, I want to choose the answer key. The answer key I'm going to use is this 115 question custom. I'm only using 23 questions, and I'll show you how in just a few steps you can still use this template and not have it count all the blank spaces. So I'll select that. Next thing I want to do is choose read images, click on next. Now the file is right here. If you need to locate your file because you've downloaded it in some other location, you can always choose the drop arrow and navigate to where you downloaded that file. I'm going to select the file and then choose Add Selected. Now here is where I'm going to tell it to ignore blanks. So I'm going to click on this Next button and I'm going to uncheck the blank responses. That way it'll just skip over all of the blank responses. Now I'll click on Read, and it'll go through and read all of the tests. I've done this a few times, so it read it quite quickly. I can preview the tests here. I can scroll through, and if there is any errors, it will pop up here. If it can't read, let's say this square, when I click on this square, I'm looking at test number 7, question number 13. It gives me a picture view of the actual test. So if I wanted to, I could say, oh, the test can't describe what it is, so I will say it appears that this was an E. I can hit the drop down arrow and choose which answer best fits what I see in this image. Okay, so now I have the test uploaded. The next thing I want to do is identify that these two first files are actually the test versions. So I'm going to notice that I have grid row 1 and grid row 2. That's going to come in handy in just a moment. So I'll click on Advanced Grade, double click. It's going to launch this. One of the things that you'll also notice is we have the student ID. We have the students add their ID, and it's here. If I want the test to show the student IDs instead of the generic 1, 2, 3, 4 order that they came in, I'm going to click on Question Properties. Then I'll click on Student ID. Even though it's grayed out, I can still select it. And then I'm going to select this question identifies the student. Once I have this selected, I'm going to go now to test versions to tell the software which versions are where. Once I have this selected, I'm going to click Define Multiple Test Versions, and then I'm going to click the drop down arrow here and say that this one is going to be identified by the professor ID. So I'll click on Create Version, and now remember we have row 1 and row 2 are our keys. So the first key, what I want to do is click the drop down arrow where it says Import Answer Key From, and I'm going to choose Data Set Grid Row, and it's by default it starts at 1, and it just so happens that number 1 is my first grid key. I'm going to click on Import Key, and you'll notice that it says Version ID. It's already marked as A in this test key here. So now that I've done that, I can click on Create Version again, and it's going to give me the second key. So this one is going to be pulled from grid 2, so I click the up arrow to have it go to 2. Then I'll click on Import Key, and now I have it imported here, and as we can see, it's choosing grid row 2, and I can see the professor ID is B here, and it pulled it in there. Now I'm ready to grade. Again, quick review. I went to Question Properties and I said Student ID. This question identifies the student. Then I went to Test Version and I selected my test version and told them which key to look at. Now I'm going to click on Grade. This is where it also says that I can remove the blanks from acceptable answers. So it's showing that applicable questions 24 through 115, I can remove all of those as questions. So since I left them all blank on the answer key and the students didn't answer them, I'm going to put yes. Would you like to save this answer key? Yes. And I can save it on my computer so I can use the same test key in the future. So I'll just save it over this one. Yes. Click on OK. And now it launches the reports. And here's where we can see all of the reports. We'll go over these reports in a different video at another time. Thank you.